We have a pharmacy module that we've installed on everybody's website last week. So this is now available to you as of last week. There's 6 topics we're going to talk about. There's some that you're familiar with, where you ask the customer to accept terms before they add to basket. There's a questionnaire functionality that's been there now. It's available to you for products like Viagra, where you get the customer to answer questions before they can add to basket. Setting max quantities to purchase, where you limit the amount of Calpol, say, they can add to basket. We're also going to talk about the audit trail for an order. We're recording all the steps the customers take, just in case you ever got audited, and you can give an audit trail to the auditor. Turning on a new function called auto review. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to also talk about a new pharmacist approval process that you can turn on if you want to try that out as well. So we're going to talk about these 3 items first. The first half of the presentation will be on adding terms and conditions to a purchase. So if you can see on the right, a perfect example where there is 2 checkboxes at the bottom, where you're asking the customer to check these before they can add to basket, and they won't be allowed to ask the basket until they've checked those. There's also, it's a simple questionnaire there. I've just got 3 questions there, where you're asking them, do they have allergies? It's just a yes or no answer. If they pick yes, for example, that's configured so they can't add to basket and say, please contact us for a private consultation. The second question there is a question where instead of having yes, no, you have 3 options, high, standard, low. All this is configurable. You can put in what the questions are, and you can put in how they're configured. The third one there is just actually a free text, where you might say, do you have any allergies that we would be concerned about? And they can put in their answer there. So that's the questionnaire idea. And then put max quantities for purchase. You could say that they can only order a maximum of 2 per order. And that's what that features. So everything I've talked about today is on 6 support articles. They're on the support.abcommerce website under sales. There's a button there, sales, and in there is a section called pharmacy module, and in there is the 6 articles. So everything we're talking about, the details on them are in those articles. Accepting terms and conditions before purchase. This has been around for a while, in that if you click update product on your website admin, you can put in what the text is that they have to accept. But there's a new feature that we trialed from a few months ago, which is there's a configuration option under a primary category. And if you put in, say, those settings there, term count equals 2, and then you put in term 1 equals this and term 2 equals that, that will show those terms. You can have 3, 4, as many terms as you want. Don't have too many, though, because you don't want your customer to have to jump through a whole load of hoops just to add to basket. But you can set that, and then all the products in that primary category will see those terms. So that's what it would look like. Those 2 terms are displayed before you add to basket. The next one is asking the customer to answer a questionnaire. The configuration for the questionnaire on the left is shown on the right, where you just literally go question equals, you put in the question. You can actually stop them if they say, do you have an allergy there? You can say error equals yes. So if they pick the yes option, you won't let them add to basket. You say, please contact us for a private consultation. Similarly, the next question there just kind of shows you how you can configure it. Instead of having yes, no, which are the default, you can change the options to being high, standard, low. And you can also set an error for high and an error for low. And then that's the free text. It's called text box question. Now, all the details of that, there's a lot more configuration options are available in that support article. Example product would be Viagra, for example. Now, the second last point there, just want to show you, this is the default message. Sorry, we cannot complete this order. Please contact us for a private consultation. You'll see in the article you can change that text to be maybe more friendly if you want. And the last point is if the user is rejected, the user might change the answer and then add to basket. So if they said, is your cholesterol high or is it medium or low, and they put in high and they say, sorry, you need to contact for a private consultation. If they then change the answer to medium and then click add to basket, it will let them through. But we're going to show you the audit trail next. We do record that they did put in a wrong answer first and then changed it. Setting max quantity. Sorry, my slide is a bit mangled there, but it's available there now under the update product. There's a box there for setting max quantities. We're going to pilot this month where you can set max quantities using the category configuration, where you can set max quantities for a category of products or a product group of products. And in which case, then, it will only allow you by a maximum amount of all those products, the sum of all the quantities of those products in your basket. So that's the first half of the presentation. The second half we're going to go into is the audit trail for the order. We're going to start with that. What is an audit trail? Every time somebody's adding to basket or accepted terms, we put a line into an audit trail for that order. It records the following amounts. If they accept a term and condition, it puts in the time they accepted it, what the text was that they accepted, what answers they filled in for the questionnaire. If you have a big, long 15-question, or try and keep it short if you can, to say 10 questions for Viagra, it will record all the answers they made. And it will also, if they've added items that have a max quantity, it will tell you what the quantity they added versus what the maximum quantity you allowed. So that'll also be added to the audit trail. So what does it look like? So now audit trails, the standard web admin will not be allowed to look at the audit trail. You have to actually contact the help desk and set up a special, say a pharmacist within your organization with their own login, and then ask the help desk to enable them to view the audit trail. The reason for this is that for GDPR purposes, customers' health is actually a special category. So GDPR is very strict in general, but there's 8 special categories, and health is actually a special category. You've got to be very careful with that data. So AB Commerce, we like to be seen as a trusted platform and a secure platform, so we always err on the side of caution. So that view audit button is not visible to people who are fulfilling the orders. You have to give the special permission to a pharmacist, and they have their own login to see that feature. Now, when they click on it, it will pop up, and it's a big, long list. It's an audit trail. At the top of the list would be the actual order. So I've got 2 sample items in that order, but the highlights in blue, the products that have either terms and conditions against them or, say, the questionnaire, I call them special products. Next, if there's an exception, there's an exception there. It's sort of saying that the customer did filled in a free text answer when they were added to the basket. So they'll be at the top because the audit trail is a big, long report. So just so that when the pharmacist is looking at it, they should have all the information at the top of the report for them. This is the full audit trail. It just literally has every action they did and the time they did it. Even when they view the audit trail, it puts a line at the bottom saying, the pharmacist viewed this at 7:31 p.m. tonight. So you have a full, very secure, very, very detailed list of every activity to protect that customer who wants to be ensured that they're confident that you are minding their data. The next is this auto review, which is a new feature that we've made available to you from last week. This is the first time doing it, so it's very high level. It's just a start because we want you guys using. We're not pharmacists; we're just technical people. So we wanted to start you off with the sort of the framework that you can work in, and then if you pilot for a few weeks and then give us your feedback, we should be able to fine-tune it. Okay, so what is that? What happens is when you turn on auto review, what it does is when the customer's making the order, it actually looks up every other order that customer's made in the last 6 months, and it gives you all the products that they've ordered, and it highlights in blue the ones that are special products that are also in the current order. Now, how do we match that? If you see the third column there, it says matched by primary email or postcode. We match them because users, they don't always, most of them, you generally don't log in, you just go through the checkout. We match them by their email address or their postcode. So it's the only way we can sort of say to you, look, that's how we think this customer has also ordered these other products. Now you see at the bottom, you can always add a comment at any time. So the pharmacist, when looking at it, he could ring the customer saying, I rang them, you don't even have to put the date, because we'll put the date stamp when you click add comment. But you can add as many comments as you want. You say, I rang them, I discussed that, look, I'm concerned with their high cholesterol, but they're only 21, I'm comfortable enough to let them take that order. So you can record what actions you did, or I rang them and I cancelled the order. You can record that in as part of the audit trail. The audit review process. So while your web admins and your order fulfillment people cannot view the audit trail, what they can view is we do a summary table. So if you see in column 3 there, there's 3 orders. The first 2 said that the orders were fine, but the third one says this customer has ordered these quantities in the last 6 months. And it's broken down into the last 2 days. So if a customer buys two Calpol off you now and then in an hour's time buys another 2 Calpol, it will actually say that customer's bought 4 today. So it's actually adding them all up for the last 2 days. So there's 4 rows in that little mini table there. Up to 2 days, what have they ordered? 3 to 7 days, so in the last week, and then from 7 to 30 days in the last month, and then from larger than 30 days, so from month 2 to 6. And there's sort of 5 columns there. They just stand for terms is how many products they accepted terms for. Questions, Qs is how many questionnaires they filled in. Max is how many products have a maximum quantity set against them. Q free is how many free text answers they actually filled in. They're giving you information that you need to read. And Q's errors is how many errors they made before when they were filling the questionnaires, and they would have had to go back and change those errors. And then there's the pharmacist approval process. So this is another new feature where you can turn on the pharmacist approval process, which means any item that has a special product in it doesn't go into new order status. It goes into a special order status. Just go forward there where you'll see it's a new order status at the bottom of the list there called submitted for review. Now when they log in, they're the only ones who can see these orders, and then they go into the orders, they click view audit trail on it, and they will, when they open up the audit trail, they'll see these 3 buttons. They can add a comment, or they can add a comment and approve the order, or they can add a comment and cancel the order. When you put a comment in there and you click approve order, it also submits the comment before approving the order. Now, approving the order means it moves it from that temporary holding area into the new order status. Payment has been received, remember, so if you cancel the order, you need to contact the web team to refund that customer. Okay, so you can set up we don't know how practical it's going to work for you. If you turn on the pharmacist approval process, you need a dedicated pharmacist. Not full-time all during the day, because we can set it up so as the orders come in for them to review, they get an email. Now, you wouldn't put any details in the email about the order because it's private. They have to log in and click view audit trail to see that private information. But if you have a pharmacist, you can say, look, you need to log in twice a day and approve the orders, or reject them, or handle them, or contact the customers. Then if you're happy to try that out, you would need a dedicated pharmacist for that. If you're not, you could say, well, I won't turn on the pharmacist approval process, but I'll turn on the order review process. And then the people who are packing the orders, they'll see that summary table. You might say, if it's okay if they're accepted maximum, you might say certain criteria, certain numbers are okay, but if there's a large table there, you need to move it into maybe another order status, and let the pharmacist come and review that. So how you're going to manage this is up to yourselves now. But what we'd like to do is work with you over the coming weeks. You might give some feedback saying, look, if it's an order like this, we'd like it to auto-approve itself. So we'd like to turn on the auto-approval process, but there's certain criteria in which case it will automatically go through. But we're technical people, and we don't want to come up with the algorithms. We need you to come up with the algorithms, because you might come up, you need to make sure it's bulletproof as well, so that if an auditor audits you, that you have the right answers for their questions. Again, the support articles are there on the support.ab Commerce website. And next steps. So what I suggest for most of you, or all of you, is contact the help desk, turn on the auto review process, and then see the information coming through for the next couple of weeks. And if you're ready, then turn on the pharmacist approval process, but you'll need a pharmacist to be available a few times a day to approve orders, or even once a day. And that's it. So, any questions? Paul?
The order status for required approval, when does it happen? Is it going to straight after order going out, or?
So when it won't. It doesn't go to new order, because when it goes to new order, it'll get downloaded into your system, and it'll go from new order then to order downloaded. Now, if you don't turn it on, you still have the option to let them through, and then the people packing them, it'll go to order new order status and then order downloaded. And then as they're packing them, they might move to another status too. We could create another status for you so that it's sort of after the event. But this is the first time we're launching this, and we've kept it very open and generic for now, so that we can get your feedback. Any other questions? Yeah, we're going to pilot that where you can set at a group of products that there's a max quantity. So if you say there's only 2 for products in this group, so we're just piloting. We're trying to see can the groups be separate, for example, or there's some ideas for having 5 or 6 types of groups. Some interesting feedback. So we're going to pilot that for the next few weeks.